We will start off with Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Michelle?
Hey, Jim, nice to see you again. Um, I just wanted to ask you if you could talk about how the team looks just from what you've seen so far, how the trip to Europe helped, just to blend in the new guys, to integrate the new guys, and particularly Matthew Cleveland coming in from FSU. How has he looked and blended into the group? Thank you.
Well, first of all, it's a very nice group to work with. We had 10 practices before we went to France. We played 3 games. We played everybody in all 3 games. I was pleased with everybody's performance. There was a lot of balance. For example, in 2 of the games, the starters played 22 minutes and the subs played 18. So it worked out very well for my staff and I to take a look at where we are. Since we came back, we started our workouts late in August for individual work. Yesterday was our first day of official practice. And we have half our team is new. So in terms of Matt Cleveland, he and Michael Nowako are doing a real nice job. But learning, it's not as smooth a transition as you might think coming from one program within the league or from a prep school. You're really still in the learning process. He's getting more and more familiar with our offense and our drills, and as he learns them better, I think he'll play really well.
Zumi Charles from Kingsport. Zoom.
Hey, Coach Joe. I just kind of wanted to ask you about, the excitement of, first practice, getting back on court, getting acclimated with everybody and the new guys. Just how's everyone feeling heading into the season?
Yeah, I think we're very optimistic, but we also have to be very aware that our league has improved dramatically. And our non-conference schedule is probably the most challenging since I've been here. So that optimism has to be tempered a little bit with the reality of we lost 2 great NBA players in Jordan Miller and Isaiah Wong. Isaiah was the player of the year. Jordan was second team all conference. So it's hard to replace that caliber of player. So we'll have to see how we get off once we start playing games.
Adam Lichtenstein from the Sun Sentinel. Adam?
Hey, Jim. How's it going? I got 2 questions. The first, I know you obviously can't talk about, recruits who haven't signed yet, but obviously there's been some momentum the last couple of weeks on the recruiting trail. What do you think's been working on that front lately?
Well, I'll give you an example of how good my assistant coaches are. During one of the official visits, I had such bad laryngitis, I couldn't speak. So my coaches did all the talking, and we got those 2 kids. So it just shows you how my impact is not as great as some people might think, but my assistant coaches are doing an amazing job.
And then my second question, I was talking to Coach Meyer and Jaleel Williams about this. Just what do you think the impact is of the new training facility, and how much do you think it helps the team, helps recruiting, and kind of helps the whole organization?
Well, if you understand that athletes spend a lot of time in the training room doing prehab and rehab, in the weight room getting stronger and developing much more stamina. And we're seeing that. I think you'll all be very impressed with the improvement of a guy like AJ Casey. Last year, he was maybe about 205 pounds. He's now 220, and he's so much stronger. He's playing that way.
To Marcus Benjamin from Kings County.
Hi, Coach. Wanted to just ask about the transfer portal and just kind of how it's kind of helped Miami in these last few years in particular, and just how Miami's become somewhat of a destination now for players that are seeking to go elsewhere. If you could just kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, Nigel Pack and Norshad O'Meara made a tremendous contribution last season, helping us get to the Final Four. Jordan Miller was a transfer from George Mason. The year before, Charlie Moore was a tremendous player, helping us get to the Elite Eight. And over the years, guys like Shane Larkin, Kenny Kaji, Angel Rodriguez, Sheldon McClellan, Kamari Murphy, all those guys had a tremendous impact. And we continue to keep our eyes and ears open for any transfer that we think fits our culture. And Matt Cleveland certainly does.
Time for just a couple more for Coach L. We'll go to David Lang from WPLG. You're on. Okay, we'll go back to Michelle in the meantime while David gets that situated.
Oh, I'm good. I'm sorry about that. Hey, Coach L, a question for you. The first couple of years you were in conference, it was sort of about, bringing the program to a level where they could contend with the big powers. But now you're coming off a Final Four appearance. Now you guys are kind of at the top of the food chain. How do you adjust a program that's going from kind of hunters to the hunted?
Well, I never look at things that way. When we first came into the league, our goals were still the same as they are today, and that is to win the ACC regular season, to win the tournament, to make the NCAA, and advance as far as we can. So in year one, we made the NIT. In year two, we won the ACC regular season and tournament. And then we went, I think, 3 straight years, got to the Sweet 16 twice, and that we had a little bit of a lull, and now we've come back strong. But I think we recruit players who fit our culture, who really enjoy playing with each other and playing for the coaching staff. And they all love Miami. They stay here all summer when they have the option of leaving. And when you have a group that gets along well on the court and off the court, you have a chance to be successful, and hopefully we can keep it rolling.
All right, last question for Coach L. We'll go back to Michelle.
Hey, Coach, are you still dealing with you seem subdued for you, especially coming off a Final Four and everything, and, you said laryngitis before. You still dealing with some of that? Have you had to make some adjustments, like you can't yell as much at practice, or, how are you doing personally heading into this season?
I'm really trying to save my voice right now because I have no strength, no volume. But teaching doesn't require yelling. I still am out there talking to the players, calling them over to the sideline, whispering in their ear, telling them what they could have done or should have done, or something they did really well that I wanted to make special attention. But this voice has been bothering me for a couple of weeks now, so I got to be careful. I don't want it to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. We appreciate you making some time.
Thank you.